Hello and welcome everybody. This is your host, Learvok, and you're just in time for more LEGO Atlas MOC Showcase. For those of you who are watching this as their first video, you're probably wondering, Learvok, you handsome stud of a man, what is a LEGO Atlas? Long story, I will refer you to the LEGO Atlas Charger, as that is the first video in the series, and that is the one that will explain what the Atlas is and its and a lot of its construction in general. Like, it'll go in more in depth into the construction of what makes an Atlas in general. For this, the short story, the Atlas is a series of mechs that all use the same design, cockpit, and general design, but have various differences that make them unique or different, such as the Atlas Charger being it's a beast themed mech, or the Atlas Meteor, which is designed to be more like a Formula One racer, and so on and so forth. In this case, we're looking at the Atlas Guardian, which is designed to be a protector of sorts, hence the shield and the big shoulder pieces here, which came from a LEGO Nexo Knight set. I believe it was the LEGO Nexo Knight motorcycle that the green guy, I think his name's Aaron, pilots at one point. It's the only Nexo Knight set I ever owned, and I wish I'd gotten more, because of course I wish I'd gotten more. And anyway, so I took those pieces off and put them on the shoulder here. Just to reiterate, as I said in other videos, my opinion on using pre-made build pieces. I don't care about that. It's fine. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen either by design or by mistake. So you might as well embrace it, as long as you give credit where credit is due, and you don't use too much of the same of one piece from one set. You can kit bash all you want and make new things. This is LEGO. It's all about creativity. Sometimes LEGO does their job a little too well, and you can't improve them perfect. Case in point, the Atlas feet. I will go ahead and very quickly pull one set of feet off. This, as I lower my camera there, this came from the LEGO Ninjago Samurai mech. Different colors, obviously, for those who actually have the set, but the same basic design. It works perfectly fine, and I love it as my feet. For the Guardian uses a different set of feet. A different design feet, very much similar in design, but there is a bit of a difference with the heel or the toe being the toe ending roughly the same. About a block sooner. It works fine for the Guardian. It doesn't really work out fine for a lot of my other mechs, which is why this one is one of the only ones. So yeah. So the Guardian is an Atlas mech designed to protect. Again, hence the shield. One of the things about the shield is it has this little Nexo Knight shield plate here that can be removed and replaced with other shield plates that give the mech special abilities when it does a times block. If it blocks or bash blocks or deflects an attack, it can activate the ability. In this case, this one is, well, I don't know what the actual Nexo Knight piece is, but it's going to be healing, because these are usually related to heal. So if it deflects an attack perfectly, like it perfectly times a block, sword's about to strike down and it blocks the sword and deflects it away. It activates the crest and gives it its power. The shield plates do have cooldown. The shield itself does have a cooldown on how long you can use it before you overload overload system. So built into the shield is a limiter, so it can only be used once every so often, based on how much power it consumes to generate the effects. In this case, it's healing, so it sends like little nanobots or whatever to self heal and mend the mech as quickly as it can. That's actually a pretty powerful move, so it takes a longer time for it to charge. The mech itself could still do the deflect block, it just won't activate the ability. Getting into a little more video gaming stuff here, but that's kind of how my fantasy world works. A kind of a mix of video game logic, fantasy logic in general, sci-fi, just a general mix of various things, and however I feel at the moment. So with all the others, we'll go ahead and look at the pilot real quick. I forget the name of this pilot. No, it's not Freya's a different character. I forget this lady's name. As you can tell, I just broke the atlas off. Depending on how tight the joints are, they can be really hard to open and close sometimes. It also comes down to age, so if you have to replace them. Fun fact: this is the only Atlas mech I've made so far that does not have a portal companion cube piece in it. That is not by design. That is because I ran out of the pieces. I need to order more. It's supposed to have one. Every one of the Atlas mechs are supposed to have the portal companion cube. That one, it fits in with the Atlas joke of it being a portal reference, but two, it also represents the onboard AI that works with the pilot to allow the mech to function more effectively, more efficiently. Basically allows the pilot to work very efficiently to do their job. As for construction of this mech, there is some custom elements to this that other Guardians do not have. This particular Guardian has attached to its back is a suppressor. This little thing here is used to suppress and weaken AI cores, other AI cores, so it makes piloting the mechs a lot more difficult for the pilot. So this gives them an edge when they're battling them. It suppresses AI functions and makes it harder for the combatants to fight, allowing them to subdue them faster. Outside of that, like I said, the pieces here came from the Lego Nexo Knight sets. Again, my opinion on that. I'm not going to repeat them. At first, I wasn't sure if I was going to like the lime green. Like, lime green is one of those colors, like, as a fan of the color green, I kind of like my kind of darker greens, like the dark green here that makes up the middle of the mech. The lime green I've never really liked for a lot of other things, but for Lego, for this one in particular, when you pair it with the darker colors, it turns out wonderfully. Like, oh my gosh, it looks so good to me. The actual shield that I have in studio, in stud.io, however you call it, is made up of the dark blue and lime green colors. It's also a lot bigger. I've made two versions of it. I made this version. I made a bigger version that I used to have as the main shield, but that was too heavy for the Guardian to wield because, as you can tell from this, yeah, it's still even a little bit too heavy. But I don't want to go any smaller because otherwise it defeats the purpose of the shield. It's supposed to be a Guardian. It's supposed to have a big strong shield that covers a lot of area. But yeah, unfortunately, the way the joints are for the Atlas, it doesn't really allow for it to be viable. So it's just for the toy version, it's just for show, but for the actual mech, it would actually be able to hold it. Oh, it actually held it that time. Hold on. Almost had an accident here. Which is weird because I was getting ready to brace you guys to stop the accident from actually happening. So let's see. Yep. that was going to happen regardless, I think. Oh. There we go. Okay. So yeah, it can't actually hold it. It's just got to get in the right spot. So yeah. Unfortunately, the actual toy version is not as good as it could be. Readjust you there. But maybe if here's the thing. I've tried redesigning the arms for the Atlas using the ball joints instead of the clip pieces. I just have not been able to find something that I'm happy with and that keeps the design of the Atlas that allows it to be as customizable as it is. But yeah. For this one, like I said, I used lime green, dark blue, and then dark green on the inside. Dark green and the sand green on the inside. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about that. That came more from necessity than anything else. I just do not have the dark blue pieces I need for everything. But it worked out well. It worked out very well for me. For it, I like the way it looks. It just broke. Keep trying to adjust this thing and it keeps breaking on me. Might need to swap the pieces out for some slightly weaker joints or we'll just figure out a better way to try to pose it on camera. There we go. But yeah, like I said, the dark green really worked out well for like being the inside of the mech, the center part of the mech, and then the shoulders, the outer part of the mech like goes into that darker blue, lime green, and it works to me. It just works. It gives it like a more defender look, bright, a bit bright but not too bright. Uses colors well. See if I can adjust my lighting a bit. There we go. Just so that you're seeing colors more effectively. Does kind of screw up with my shot. So I can. Oh, dang. Makes it harder to see the cockpit, doesn't it? That's more of a result of the dark green than it is anything else. Might also be the fact that I'm having a hard time seeing it on the actual screen. Because I got a light flashing right across from it. There you go. That's a good view right there. Gotcha. The suppressor. Again, this came from Bricks and Minifig. I found just the piece like this in the store, and I was like, I gotta do something with this, and I did. This originally came into an earlier mech that I was working on that I just kind of ended up abandoning because the mech itself was not turning out well. And eventually I just put it on the Guardian and finally found a good use for it. But yeah. So that is the Atlas Guardian, and that was totally my fault right there. I should know better than to try to move the shield without moving the arms first. Yeah, that's the Atlas Guardian. And with that, I've currently showed you all my physical models of the Atlas series that I have. If I make any more, I'll make sure to post them up because, hey, I like doing this. I like these things. I like showing them off, and they're cool. I think they're cool. I think they're neat. So yeah. With all that said, I'll see you guys later.